when I thought about what am I going to tell people who know a lot about oral history anyway, because all of you in one way or another have worked, researched, done written books on oral history, I thought that maybe I could tell you how I became an oral historian, or I think I am an oral historian, through my short intellectual biography. It all started when I registered in university because I loved history very much. I registered at the Faculty of Philosophy in Italy, University of Perugia. But I discovered very soon that in the Faculty of Philosophy, I couldn't get a degree in history because a degree in history was given by the Faculty of Italian Literature, Faculty Lettercis, Faculteti Lettercis. And I didn't like literature, and I especially didn't want to take the mandatory Latin exam. So I was stuck in the University of Philosophy, but I could change my, in Italian it's piano di studi, plani studimeve, and I studied ethnology, which was allowed in the Faculty of Philosophy. So I started being engaged with folklore, or the culture of, what we call it, the culture of the people. In Italian, the culture of the popolo, populate, which is not people really, it's something else. But, and in those days, in the 70s, when I was in university, Antonio Gramsci was very important for his theory on folklore. Gramsci was really the first one who focused on folklore as a very important object of study. He identified folklore as the worldview of the people, of the populate. So the worldview of the peasants, the workers, people who didn't have power, not the elite, a worldview that was marginal, not official, not hegemonic, as we used to say, and was not taken seriously by big scholars. A culture that was tradita, and not modern. But Gramsci, as you know, was a communist, so he was interested in changing folklore, in looking at what are the parts of folklore that are progressive in his mind and not conservative. So let's put this aside. I'm not interested in this discussion. What I'm interested in was that what Gramsci focused was really the dignitated, studimere folkloret, as a very important part of our understanding of the people, those who could not express themselves in an official way. Of course, the culture of the people is an oral culture, orality. Illiterate peasants or workers do not write. They sing, they talk, but they do not write. So it's very based on orality, the study of folklore, versus the written tradition. Now, this Gramsci created, on Gramsci's ideas, there was a big school in Italy. My grounding in oral history is really Italian. Although I studied in the United States and my PhD is from the United States, my grounding is Italian. The school that was founded on Gramsci has incredible scholars. I don't know if you know them. We discussed with Arnora, maybe you know, maybe not. But Ernesto De Martino was an incredible scholar who studied the folklore of the southern peasants, especially in an area where there are many Arbresh, although he didn't study Arbresh, but in the area where Arbresh lives, in Puglia, in Calabria, he studied their culture, and he published a very important book called Il Mondo Magico. Portelli wrote a book called Urdri est executor. The order has been executed. And this for me has been very important because when I came to Kosovo in the summer of 1999, I was very curious about a portrait that I saw on Boro Ramiz. It was Adem Yashari. But I was here with my colleague from the UN, and I asked them, who is that man? Kush është burra? And people said, we don't know. We don't know, we don't care, we don't know. So I started being interested in researching Adem Yashari. I went to Prekas. I spent many hours in Prekas. I listened to the story there and understood the importance of Adem Yashari, what happened in Prekas. But also I was listening to different stories. Ka qenë njerëzit në vere e 99 edhe në 2000 të cilët me kanë thënë se Adem Yashari nuk është eroj sepse nuk kishte shpëtuar familjen e saj, i tij. And I discovered, so there were two kujtese, two memories of Prekas, the heroic, legendary, and the other one that criticized Yashari on the basis of some common sense. He should have defended his family. He shouldn't have fought. And I started to research that with my colleague, Stephanie Schoner-Sievers. And the work of Portelli helped me very much because Portelli wrote a book about a big massacre of German Nazi in Rome. In March 1944, në marsi 44, Gjermanët kanë vrarë 335 Italiani. As a reprisal, because the Italian partisans had killed 30 Germans. And this massacre, of course, is very important. If you go to Rome, you see on many houses these plaques. Filani është vrarë Emra është vrarë në Fosse Ardeatine, the massacre. It's very important, but there are people, many, who believe that it was the fault of the partisans that those people were killed. In other words, if the partisans didn't kill the Germans would not have massacred Italians. I heard the same story here, that the fault of the killing of all these people in Prekas, their whole family, was the responsibility of Adem Yashari, not the Serbs. Because if Adem Yashari surrendered, they wouldn't have been killed. Let's forget who is right, who's wrong. What is important is to understand in this kujtesa e ndarë, who says what, who remembers what, and why. We want to understand the voices of the people, not of the politicians. Oral history is about listening to people, is the art of listening. Histori gojore është
arti të dëgjuarit.
Yes, arti të dëgjuarit, and also interpreting. Albanians feel that Skanderberg is atleta Christianitatis, is the champion of Christianity, of the Pope, but then Albanians are majority converted to Islam, and in the epic of the Betej e Kosovës, Sultan Murad is called Baba. He is loved and is presented as a holy man. And then the other half of the story is about how wonderful was Milos Kopilicis, who kills Baba. So it was a very interesting discovery for me, and I hope that I contributed something to understanding of this feeling that Albanians have about their national and cultural identity. A book I'm very proud of that Arbenora mentions is Dimri Gjat I vitit 45. This is about the massacre of Tiveri. It's like a graphic novel, so it's all illustrated. Of course, I didn't draw, Dardan Luta did it. And this book was born from a meeting with Adem Pajaziti here, who recorded his father. Again, Adam recorded Shaban, his father, who was a survivor of Tivari, and that gave us one source, one important source around which we could write this book. There are other sources, but we thought about what is oral history in the 21st century when people don't read anymore. So, kids look at their telephone, everything is on telephone, we too. But nobody really reads a book. So we thought maybe we can give this research and these stories in a different form. In this form, easier to read, more emotional, because when you see the pictures, it's more emotional. We did the same as Oral History Kosovo, producing animation. I'm sorry I cannot show it here, but we have a really wonderful animation called Mardhe, which is the story of basically the expulsion of Albanians during the war by the Serbs from Pristina, the expulsion from Pristina. And this is my last book, Jugoslavia, Ushëm në Trepçe. I wanted to write this because it all came, and I'm finishing here, so if you want to ask me a question, it's better, perhaps. I wrote something about the history of Kosovo through events. History is not just da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There are events. Jarje that are very important, that people remember. And I organized my recent history of Kosovo around three events, three dates. So one, Trepça, 89 Prekas, 98 the NATO intervention, 99. And Trepça, for me, when I started reading about it, is why Trepça. I wrote this paper 10 years ago. Okay, why Trepça is not remembered like Prekas and like Rečak? Why is not remembered? I studied more, and I understood that actually Trepça is very complicated, the strike, but I started forming the opinion that Trepça was really the beginning of the end of Yugoslavia. It's the fillimi e fundit e Jugosllavisë. Because in Trepça there was the possibility of keeping this country together, reformed with freedom and independence for each republic, but no war. But it didn't happen because Milosevic won, defeated the strike, and established martial law in Kosovo. And when that happened, Slovenia and Croatia said, we need to leave, because this is what Milosevic is doing. He's doing in Kosovo, he will do it in Slovenia, and he will do it to us. So the resistance, the qendresa e minatorëve, ishte shumë e rëndësishme, sepse ishte një momenti i kyç e historisë së Kosovës.